the way the ant works is it has a sense of smell. It drops scent depending on what state it's in. Most cases it's dropping scent. If it comes across scent of a certain value, it will be attracted to it. Food has a certain value of scent, which can allow it to be picked up over long distances. Finally, the nest has a scent value as well, which helps it find the nest. There is a trail script on the ant which tracks every place it's visited as it's going around every scent. This way it never visits the same scent again until it either drops off food or collects food, meaning it won't backtrack. It generally follows trails. Going into this here, this part is what it does when it has food, as you can see here. All of these conditions and actions I have scripted myself. They can all be found in the scripts behaviors section. So this is all to do with how it finds its way back to the nest when it's got food. This part over here is basically, this is what's run when it doesn't have food most of the time. It will always check if it needs to drop scent. Here we have our ants. These cubes are scent. The color and transparency dictates how, shows how strong the path is. So you can see here, someone made a path there and now they've become very interested in this path. Some outliers will try to create new paths, but if they're not popular, they will continue to the most popular path. Not much chance of other paths becoming popular now. As you can see, this is probably the optimal path that the ants could be taking right now. So now the food is gone. They are all visiting any of the hotspots because they're still interested in the scent. However, now that they've visited them and they haven't collected food, they've added it to their memory. They know that they've been there and they know that there isn't any food there. So now they all begin to move on, going into random searches. Some of these guys have used their long sense of smell to detect the food. And you can see now they are moving between these nodes, attracted to whichever one is strongest, and a path is already starting to form towards the nest. So there's a bit of flurry of activity every time this happens, but what eventually will happen is a path will form as more and more ants become interested, attracted by the strong smell. And then roots, like this one here, will begin to be carved out. So now they've got the majority of the ants within the area, the path is now strengthening and lengthening. You can see they're now following this path here, delivering the food back to the anthill. You can see it's quite an optimal path. Perhaps could have gone this side of the rock, but you can see they haven't gone off in any wild directions. They are taking a fairly direct path, and now you can see they're sticking to it. What does tend to happen is this, which is quite interesting. This is it actually being optimized, I believe, from my observations. The path begins to get shaved off in certain points. This part will start to become weaker and this path will become stronger, as you can see, bringing the food more, or the line more in line with a direct line or the most optimal route, proving what I wanted to try and actually achieve with this model. Some more ants have found food over here. You'll see they're beginning to mark out the path by moving to pre-existing scent. And you can see these guys here are trying to go that way, but these ants here are likely to start forming a stronger trail here along the most optimal path, which is now what is happening. So yeah, this did take a lot of balancing to get correct, to get the scent values and etc. correct, but it has paid off. And now they're starting to move towards the food. They tend to move as a group,